personally think they're still sleeping together. That's just my thing. I'm just gonna hold that right there. Something tells me in my spirit of spirits that there's some Tinder swindling going on, and I can't prove it. But it's in my spirit, it's in my DNA. Because when folks need money, let's start with the $8 million deal that Claressa allegedly got.
Reports are flooding timelines tonight, and the internet is once again in full meltdown mode. According to a growing wave of online chatter, Tasha K has dropped what she calls proof that could completely flip the narrative around Remy Ma and Papoose. Fans are shocked as blogs, reaction channels, and comment sections light up with claims that an alleged divorce may no longer be just a rumor. At the same time, whispers about Papoose's supposed $8 million deal connected to Claressa. Shields are being questioned from every angle, adding fuel to an already raging fire.
Information. If you can't afford to retain a lawyer, since your lawyer that the number you gave us has not been retained yet, I told you I'll paper it. If somebody over there that loves you wants to paper it, great. That will make me happy. Everything is signed and ready to go. I don't want nothing. I'm not even asking for child support. My daughter's school, her babysitter, her nanny, her gymnastics, her swimming, her dancing, her healthcare, her all of that. I take care of it like I've always done. I don't need any.
I just like to express this one thing. All these girls be like, thank you to my man. And I want to say, to my hands, thank you to my hands. To my hands, thank you to my hands. Listen, for me knowing how to fight and me training hard, I make millions of dollars just from beating people up. So, to my hands, thank you to my hands. To my hands, thank you to my hands.
Y'all, it looks
and officially confirmed. But that hasn't stopped social media from spinning the story into a full-blown reality TV-style saga. Emotions ran high as viewers tried to connect the dots between Tasha K's statements, old interviews, and recent public appearances. Some are asking if this is the moment everything finally comes into the open, while others believe the timing alone raises more questions than answers. Screenshots, voice clips, and vague hints are being dissected in real time, with fans insisting something big is unfolding right in front of them. What makes this situation even
Proof that they was together on Christmas. He was with his kids, his wife, Remy. He held the camera when Remy did her little video. But he trying to say, oh, this was 2 different days. He just had on, so the store owner just happened to have on the same shirt. And you just happened to not be around that day.
More intense is how personal the stakes feel. Remy Ma and Papoose have long been seen as one of hip-hop's strongest couples. So the idea that a private split could be hidden behind smiles and silence has left supporters stunned. Meanwhile, the rumored financial deal involving Claressa Shields has sparked its own debate, with people questioning motives, loyalty, and what's really happening behind closed doors. The family was left divided online, with sides forming almost instantly. As the rumors get louder every minute, one thing is clear. Regardless of the veracity of these tales, the conversation has already taken on a life of its own. And if history has taught us anything, it is that these kinds of stories rarely go untold for very long. As soon as Tasha K went live, the online landscape shifted. Even before anything particular is said, viewers describe it as one of those broadcasts where you can feel the tension building through the television. According to later accounts that went viral, she confidently reiterated that she had seen documents and messages that others had not. Even while she did not directly proclaim things as fact, her tone alone gave supporters the idea that something important was happening. This felt different from earlier rumors, according to timeline comments, as if the conversation had shifted into a more private and uncomfortable realm. As the live stream continued, comments started to appear on social Media. Some of Remy Ma's devoted fans were shocked, stating they could not imagine a situation where a divorce would go unreported for so long. Others referenced small quotes from earlier interviews, appearances on the red carpet, and social media posts that now appeared to have profound meaning. When people watched movies again, their emotions were running high, and they were paying close attention to facial expressions and body language because they thought they had missed important cues earlier. However, a vocal group replied, saying that online rumors have a tendency to dramatize the highs and lows of regular relationships. The claims regarding Papoose and Claressa Shields quickly overtook the alleged divorce talks. There were allegations that an $8 million trade was being investigated, and internet experts were trying to figure out where the money came from. Some dismissed it as inflated speculations intended to garner attention, while others conjectured that it was related to future business ventures, endorsements, or behind-the-scenes connections. Notwithstanding the ambiguities, the idea itself sparked divisive debates about loyalty, time, and whether or not commercial objectives were being merged with interpersonal relationships. Within fan communities, the tone was increasingly divisive. One side argued that discussing Remy Ma's private separation in public was unjust and invasive. They underlined that silence does not always imply dishonesty, and that celebrities still have the right to privacy. Critics countered that public figures should build their reputations on transparency, especially those who are praised as symbols of strength and unity. They saw the possibility of hidden realities as a betrayal of the meticulously constructed image that had been presented for years. Sources also claim that close friends and associates were under pressure. Members of the circle reportedly received texts urging them to confirm or deny rumors they weren't sure about on a regular basis. According to reports, some opted to say nothing, while others offered vague comments that only sparked curiosity. Every hour that passed without an official statement was significant to fans. And the official channel's silence created its own story. The public opinion court generated split within the family, even in the absence of direct communication. As live footage of the event continued to spread, fans saw how carefully Tasha K framed her words. Her frequent use of phrases like, "according to what I have seen," or "based on what was shared with me," encouraged viewers to draw their own conclusions by making the situation appear more like a puzzle than an outright accusation. Whether this was responsible commentary intended to keep viewers' attention without making overt allegations or purposeful suspense was a topic of debate. In the meantime, other media outlets were reiterating the tale of Papoose and Remy Ma's past affair. The reappearance of archival footage of meaningful interviews, public pronouncements, and encouraging moments served as a reminder to fans of the importance of their partnership. The current rumors had greater impact since viewers were unable to relate those recollections to the idea of a peaceful breakup. Some followers admitted to being really depressed, while others were outraged over what they saw as needless drama concerning a highly personal relationship. The debate over Claressa Shields added still another level of complexity. Her name was allegedly linked to love rumors and financial transactions, which put her in an unfavorable spotlight. Her supporters vehemently protested, saying she was being unfairly drawn into a matter she never talked about in public. Critics countered that public associations always attract attention, especially when money and celebrity are involved. This contest of opinions kept the conversation going, with new perspectives appearing every minute. At the end of the day, what started out as a single live broadcast evolved into a massive web tale. Despite the lack of official records or comments, the impact was clear. Comment sections appeared to be emotional battlegrounds, where curiosity, loyalty, uncertainty, and belief collided. Many viewers were immersed in the plot despite the fact, as we see, despite the fact that it relied only on reports, interpretations, and the power of suggestion. The rapidity at which perception may shift is still the most amazing thing. A marriage that was once believed to be unbreakable was now the focus of much investigation, and a putative contract became a symbol of possible hidden motives. Regardless of the truth of any of these claims, the conversation itself showed how deeply people connect to public figures and the stories they represent. And as the noise increased, it became clear that this was more than just rumors. Rather, it was about how isolated stories can alter people's reputations before any facts are. Confirmed .fan forums and secret group discussions reportedly became even more contentious as the debate went on late into the night. Individuals who had previously seen Papoose and Remy Ma with indifference were now scrutinizing each past interaction from a fresh perspective. Subtle unfollows, deleted captions, and screenshots of earlier tweets were shared as if they were evidence in court. Admirers are amazed at how quickly harmless events were misread as signs of distancing. Laughter from a previous interview was now referred to as forced, and silence during a recent appearance was abruptly described as loud. According to online discussion, popular expectations began to dominate the story. Advocates argued that relationships change over time and that not all changes signify breakdown or betrayal. Others responded that when your public character is based on devotion and resiliency, people feel entitled to explanations when fractures appear. In the comment sections, skepticism and empathy collided with a great deal of intensity, and no one seemed to be willing to make concessions. Every point of view appeared personal, as if viewers were defending their personal beliefs on love and commitment. Many people who were close to the situation reportedly felt stuck in a dangerous situation. Unnamed friends allegedly found it difficult to choose between keeping their anonymity and putting an end to what they perceived to be damaging assumptions. Some allegedly tried to ease the stress by assuring followers that not everything they everything they slash it's thing, look at this, look at this. And we all know I've been exploring, end. And we all know I've been exploring that path. End to what we slash made my slash to it, alev to this. We slash, allegedly we slash unless you won't complied. We allow we slash you one, we slash you at, we slash you we want we so wick do we slash you we to kai kaslai offer sakai to kai you see you we kasai so we like a say to you with you sit saga katiki we you did it I with this for type I you you I tried to sit for guys at here is true, but their vague promises simply made the situation worse. Silence was viewed as confirmation, while denial was perceived as damage control. The family was divided not just by fans, but also by the standards for loyalty. The alleged evidence mentioned in Tasha K's post continued to be a hot subject. The live feed was regularly observed by viewers who noted her pauses, tone changes, and moments when she moved closer to the camera. Some argued that these gestures showed confidence, but others claimed that they were an act meant to heighten suspense. Even others who weren't persuaded by the narrative reportedly stated the presentation was interesting enough to pique their curiosity. Viewers found it challenging to discern between commentary and fiction, which left them perplexed about the distinctions between curiosity and belief. The debate over the contentious Splunked $8 million sale intensified as financial speculation started to emerge. In an effort to establish linkages that might not exist, armchair analysts examined fictional partnerships, sponsorships, and contracts. Some contended that the sum reflected desire and a fresh start, while others said it appeared unachievable and intentionally inflated. This discussion shifted the emphasis from human emotions to power dynamics, raising worries about how money may change views of timing and loyalty. Fans of Claressa Shields reacted strongly to being pulled into the narrative. Many apparently felt protective, saying her achievements were being overshadowed by accusations unrelated to her line of work. Supporters flooded social media with reminders of her commitment and self-control. Arguing that rumors shouldn't define her, people speculated on what it must be like to have your name become well-known for reasons you never talked about in public. This tension served as an example of how interconnected stories can affect people in ways that go beyond their initial emphasis by introducing a new emotional component. As the days passed, the lack of an official explanation became a headline. In itself, some fans asserted that the silence was intentional, allowing the rumors to die on their own. Others interpreted it as a sign of hurt or exhaustion, suggesting that responding would just result in more questions. There was no clear solution that satisfied everyone, and people's emotions were running high as they talked about how to handle public criticism. There was room for ingenuity to fill in the blanks because the absence of words appeared oppressive. Even casual observers reportedly felt invested due to the dramatic framing and regular updates. What had started off as amusing comments eventually turned into an emotional experience for those who had followed the couple's journey for years. Commenters shared personal tales and connected the problem to their own relationships and fears. As a result, the discussion felt more like a group discussion about vulnerability, trust, and image than it did like gossip. Throughout it all, Tasha K continued to be a contentious figure. She was praised by some for speaking up for what others were hesitant to say and described as fearless. Critics accused her of exploiting ambiguities to attract attention and argued that recommendations without evidence might be harmful. The conflict between accountability, perception, and reality was mirrored in this division. The ability of a single telecast to evoke such intense emotional reactions astounds viewers. By now, the story had progressed far beyond its original impetus. Now, it was less about alleged documents or questionable activities and more about the speed at which public opinion can shift. Relationships, careers, and reputations appeared to be assessed by strangers who had only a partial understanding of the story. As the conversation went on, many people watching from the sidelines realized that once speculation takes hold, it seldom stays contained and the echoes can last much longer than the original words. Reports state that as the online storm grew more intense, people's feelings shifted from interest to tiredness. Some followers began to question their own involvement, questioning why a relationship they did not live in was affecting their emotions. But even after suspicions surfaced, the scrolling continued. The idea that every new post would eventually make everything clear fascinated people. Emotions were running high as the anticipation for clarity mixed with the thrill of conjecture. According to online rumors, previous interviews have resurfaced, but with a more compassionate viewpoint. Instead than listening for subtle tension, some viewers sought for vulnerability. They emphasized the times Remy talked about personal growth, forgiveness, and the pressure of public adoration. These videos sparked a fresh conversation about whether being quiet might occasionally be a sign of strength, when mistrust is briefly replaced with empathy. Fans are amazed at how quickly the tone may change in these discussions. Papoose became more of a notion than a person, according to reports. Some saw him as committed and patient, while others described him as wary and crafty. Although neither side was certain, each talked with assurance. This conundrum illustrated the speed with which narratives are assigned without confirmation. Every trait becomes a projection, reflecting viewers' assumptions rather than verifiable facts. People's perceptions of motivations were impacted by the alleged financial problems that continued to develop. Some argued that timing was crucial, suggesting that rumors only spread when money was mentioned. Money, according to some, is a distraction from deeper emotional issues. This disagreement over interpretations led to late-night debates where intuition and logic collided. The public's perception of the family was divided between those who thought it was ambitious and others who thought it was opportunistic. Meanwhile, replies from wider circles added to the intricacy. Industry peers reportedly used cryptic tweets and nonverbal clues to subtly convey their judgments. Every emoji is analyzed for any hidden meanings, whether it's a heart or an unclear caption. Fans scrutinize these cues closely, turning casual conversations into alleged cautions or recommendations. It illustrated how a celebrity can turn silence into a statement. Whether on purpose or not, the comments feature itself emerged. Viewers questioned where narrative ends and obligation begins. Some argued that presenting rumors as reports affects belief even in the presence of disclaimers. Some defended the right to discuss what is already well-liked, claiming that ignoring it won't make it go away. This philosophical disagreement provided the drama an unexpected twist and transformed it into a debate on media culture and audience power. Moderators reportedly struggled to keep fan spaces polite. Disagreements over responsibility, boundaries, and decency broke out. Other users urged empathy, reminding others that there are real people behind the headlines. Others encouraged prominent figures to accept criticism as an essential part of being visible. Emotions ran high, reflecting the volatility of the larger narrative as messages were deleted. Threads were closed and tempers exploded throughout this period. Claressa Shields supporters continued to avoid being involved in speculations. Her concentration, self-control, and refusal to comment were emphasized. While some were dubious, others were impressed by this restraint. Fans are amazed at how restraint itself can be interpreted as either avoidance or dignity. Depending on the perspective of the viewer, reports also allude to exhaustion that occurs behind the scenes. Even the most resilient people may grow tired of constant loudness, according to unnamed sources. Phones buzzing, names trending, and opinions spreading all contribute to a pressure cooker feeling. This idea resonated with those who had personally experienced milder types of public criticism. The story was sympathetic since it focused on the emotional strain of being spoken about without control rather than celebrity. As the days melted together, the story lost its fundamental bounds and became increasingly abstract. Instead of relying solely on alleged proof or questionable transactions, it was now about trusting information itself. When faced with a lack of information and intense feelings, people were asked how they make decisions. This ambiguity kept the conversation going. Despite the fact that several participants retreated for their own tranquility, some supporters reportedly attempted to radically reframe the situation, suggesting that the real lesson was patience. They suggested waiting for reliable assertions rather than adhering to every modification. This point of view had some support, but it could not keep up with the volume of information. In an immediate side-driven job, waiting felt weird and almost impossible. All of this was accompanied by a persistent sense of unresolved tension. Not because there was just one unanswered question, but rather because multiple viewpoints were present at the same time. There was a conflict between narrative control, ambition, loyalty, and privacy. The fact that a story based on news and analysis could feel so significant and linger in the thoughts of viewers long after the screens were turned off astounds them by the time this conversation session ended. Several spectators had detected a shift in themselves. Introspection had replaced the excitement. The drama continued, but it now had a more muted undertone that brought up unpleasant questions about consumption and empathy. And despite the lack of clarity, the story continued to evolve, shaped not only by those at its center, but also by all the voices that choose to take part as the discussion went on. The online environment reportedly became more somber and reflective. Previously rushing to respond, fans now took their time, thinking about their words as if they had consequences. Over time, it became evident that speculation had an impact on real lives, regardless of how humorous it may seem. Emotions were running high, but instead of bursting, they were now calmly simmering beneath the surface. The emphasis in these discussions shifted from individual accountability to audience accountability. People questioned how rumors gain influence simply by being repeated. With every share, reaction, and angry remark, a tale that would never finish seemed to take on new depth. The ease with which collective curiosity may turn into group pressure, creating expectations that no one has openly agreed upon. Downs fans. Sources claim that Remy's admirers began emphasizing her past resilience, reminding them of instances in which she triumphed against adversity and emerged stronger. They talked about survival, reinvention, and the price of living in the spotlight. These reflections softened the tone of certain threads, transforming disagreements into debates about progress rather than blame. However, because not everyone accepted this reframing, conflicts continued. On the other hand, Papoose remained a key player in fictitious scenarios. There were many ways to interpret the hush surrounding him. Some said that being silent was a sign of respect, while others insisted that it was a strategy. Creativity was unrestricted because there were no conclusive answers, rather than being based on facts. The public's opinions of the family were shaped by personal experiences and ideals. The alleged financial involvement continued to elicit strong reactions. Reports state that discussions heated up any time financial information was mentioned. Many viewers saw money as a symbol of power, independence, and intention. Some claimed it provided no explanation at all, while others believed it provided all the answers. This disparity showed how readily numbers can trump emotions, even when those emotions are supposedly at the center of the story. As the days passed, additional content creators joined the conversation, each adding their own tone and viewpoint. Some people were calm when giving their breakdowns, while others were more dramatic. Fans are amazed that the same set of findings may sound so different. Depending on who tells the story, it appears that narration style alone has the ability to alter belief, illustrating how narrative affects perception. Reports also suggest that viewers began to grow tired. Unresolved updates on a regular basis led to burnout. Despite acknowledging that they were tired, people kept checking the news, caught between curiosity and fatigue. This paradox illustrated how drama can become a habit and be consumed even when it is no longer satisfying. Amid the chaos, a more somber tale about privacy emerged. When a celebrity and family got together, commentators questioned whether boundaries still exist. Certain borders should never be crossed, according to some, while others argued that public figures inherently jeopardize their privacy. This conversation did not produce any answers, but it did reveal a broad discomfort with how open personal difficulties have become. Responses from Claressa's supporters consistently emphasized their desire to retain her identity separate from the chaos. By stressing accomplishment, dedication, and concentration, they avoided being reduced to a rumor. This defense illustrated how additional emotional depth can be added by creating collateral tales about people who never asked to be involved. Reports state that spectators' fantasies of dramatic disclosures, splits, and reconciliations even came to fictitious conclusions. These hypothetical results were fiercely debated, as if predicting the end of a series. Viewers are astounded by how easily reality is treated as written entertainment, complete with expected twists and emotional payoffs. But there was still some doubt about these notions. There are no official pronouncements, no verified details, just echoes of opinions flowing across channels. This lack of conclusion made the plot fragile, even though it kept it alive. It lived more as a shared experience than as a distinct event, and it was molded by attention rather than evidence. As engagement continued, several voices urged others to exercise moderation by stepping back and remembering empathy. They cautioned other viewers that comments can be hurtful even when they are meant to be amusing. By adding breaks to the discourse's uninterrupted flow, these signals altered its tone but did not halt it. By now, story had moved past its opening claims. It became a mirror reflecting audience behavior, media dynamics, and emotional investment. In addition to being amazed by the reports themselves, fans are also impressed by the general attention and discernment expressed in their comments. In the end, what remained was awareness rather than clarity. Understanding of the speed at which rumors spread, the extent to which people engage, and the difficulty of differentiating between intrusion and interest. Unresolved and fluid, the drama continued, bolstered more by attention and interpretation than by verifiable facts. As long as that emphasis remained, the conversation continued to serve as a reminder of the authority and accountability that come with perceiving, responding, and sharing. As this news continues to circulate on timelines and in comment sections, the most crucial question now lies with you. In the absence of official confirmation, how much weight should rumors have? What do you believe is the true nature of these reports? The public's opinion of the family is divided. Fans are shocked and emotions are flowing high. But the truth still seems unreachable. In this case, your voice matters. If you have been following every theory, answer, and development, now is the moment to share your thoughts. Do you believe that these stories are hinting at something deeper? Or do you believe that this is just another example of speculation triumphing over reality? Your point of view gives this ongoing conversation a fresh perspective. And all points of view have an impact on how stories like this are interpreted. If you like this analysis and would like to stay in contact as additional reports and discussions arise, please make sure to support the channel. You can make sure you never miss a new aspect by turning on notifications. For example, this video makes it simpler for others to find the conversation, and subscribing lets you know about upcoming updates. This section is intended for those who don't believe rumors and are looking for drama, criticism, and analysis. Above all, feel free to express your thoughts in the comments section. Are fans over-analyzing stillness? Or does it speak volumes? Do well-known individuals need to address rumors directly? Or would doing so further exacerbate them? The next round of discussion may begin with your answers. Continue to be curious and interested, and don't forget to question what you hear. Until the next report is released, carry on the conversation here.